Royal Aircraft Factory F.E.2d. Although the F.E.2b proved to be surprisingly good against the Fokker monoplane fighters, it lacked the performance to give chase to the speedier single-seaters. Early in 1916, an installation of the 250-horsepower Rolls-Royce engine in the F.E.2b airframe was designed, and on the 4th of April, 1916, a prototype designated F.E.2d was submitted for final inspection. This aircraft was number 7995, and it was fitted with a 250-horsepower Rolls-Royce Mark I, later known as Eagle 1 engine. The first recorded flight of the prototype was made on 7th of April 1916, with Frank Gooden at the controls. On test at the Central Flying School, the aircraft proved to have a top speed of 92 miles per hour near the ground, 88 miles per hour at 8,000 feet. It climbed to 10,000 feet in 32 minutes 30 seconds. The improvement on the F.E.2b's performance was not spectacular. Nevertheless, the F.E.2d was ordered in quantity. So quickly did the first of the production machines built at the Royal Aircraft Factory follow the prototype that it seems likely that the production had been ordered before the prototype flew. 3 batches of F.E.2ds, totaling 85 aircraft, were built at the Royal Aircraft Factory. Various marks of Rolls-Royce engines were fitted. All other F.E.2ds were built by Boulton & Paul Limited at Norwich, deliveries starting in early 1917. Engines varied, presumably in relation to availability, for Rolls-Royce engines were scarce. Early in 1917, it was difficult to maintain the few F.E.2d and DH-4 squadrons that were in the field owing to the shortage of engines. Some F.E.2ds still had the 250-horsepower Rolls-Royce Mark IV engine. Later, Boulton & Paul F.E.2ds had the 275-horsepower Rolls-Royce Mark II. The size and shape of the radiator varied considerably, and did not bear any obvious relationship to the mark of the engine fitted. A2 and A18 had a round-top radiator, A5 and A9 a square one with partial shutters. A27 had a round-top radiator with quite extensive shuttering. When the round-top radiator was more or less standardized, shutters still varied in design. On the earliest F.E.2ds, the sides of the pilot's cockpit were cut right down to the upper longerons of the nacelle, but on later aircraft, high coamings were fitted. Many F.E.2ds dispensed with the nose wheel of the undercarriage in an attempt to gain a few more miles per hour. The F.E.2d was never quite the surprise to enemy fighters that it might have been. One of the first to go to France, A4, landed at Lille, behind German lines on the 1st of June 1916, owing to an error in navigation by its pilot, Lieutenant Organ, and the new type's secrets were in the hands of the enemy before it had fired a shot in anger. So was an early specimen of the 250-horsepower Rolls-Royce Mark I for the F.E.2d that was the first aircraft powered by the engine to go to France. The hapless A4 was followed to France by other F.E.2ds, and by the 1st of July 1916, No. 20 Squadron had discarded its F.E.2bs and had 13 F.E.2ds on its strength. This was the only squadron operating the F.E.2d during the second half of 1916, but on the 16th of December, No. 57 Squadron arrived from England equipped throughout with the type. By the end of the year, 67 F.E.2ds had gone to France. They were followed by a further 116 in 1917. The F.E.2d gave a good account of itself. It was described by the official historian as a more formidable type of airplane than the Sopwith 1.5 Strutter, until the spring of 1917. During April of that year, the Royal Flying Corps suffered severe casualties. Among them the crews of several F.E.2ds, for the type was by then beginning to be outclassed. No. 25 Squadron was re-equipped with F.E.2ds in that month, but flew the type for a little more than 3 months before changing over to DH-4s in July. Number 57 had exchanged its F.E.2ds for DH-4s in the preceding month. Consequently, it was with Number 20 Squadron alone that the F.E.2d battled on, not unsuccessfully, until replaced by the redoubtable Bristol F-2B in the autumn of 1917. This unit could claim several distinctions for its F.E.2ds. Sergeant Thomas Mottershead was flying A-39 on the 9th of January 1917 when he brought it down from 9,000 feet in flames to save the life of his observer. Mottershead was trapped in the aircraft when it crashed. His supreme act of self-sacrifice earned a posthumous V.C. Karl Schaefer, one of Germany's leading fighter pilots, was shot down by an F.E.2d of Number 20 Squadron on the 5th of June 1917, and on the 6th of July Manfred von Richthofen was brought down wounded by another aircraft of the same squadron. In operational service, various arrangements of armament were tried, including one or sometimes two fixed Lewis guns fired by the pilot. Bomb racks were fitted because towards the end of its career, the F.E.2d did duty as a bomber on several occasions. 23 F.E.2ds were allotted to home defense units in 1917, 2 in 1918. Squadrons number 33, 36, and 78 each had a few, the aircraft being fitted with navigation lights and flare brackets. The F.E.2d's performance, although better than that of the F.E.2b, did not suffice for anti-airship duties. Consequently, its development as a home defense fighter was not pursued. A couple of things I need to add here. First, throughout this entire FE2 series, the observer/gunner in the front was not strapped in. So you can imagine turbulence or sudden reactions. He was just on his knees most of the time, and then he would have to stand up to shoot backwards. This is really crazy, nuts. You couldn't get me to do that. How many gunners did they lose that way? I don't know. And the other thing, the captured FE2d at Lille in the book said it was piloted by a Lieutenant Organ. I couldn't find any reference to Lieutenant Organ in the RFC at all. But my daughter tracked this down for me from The Aeroplane, July 5th, 1916. On the morning of May 31st, an airplane left Farnborough Aerodrome and flew across to France. It passed over our lines and the German lines and descended unhurt. The pilot, the observer, and the machine in the German aerodrome at Lille. He was sorry to tell them that the pilot who flew the machine had never flown in France before and had no knowledge whatever of the geography of the front. That made it a very serious question. The pilot's name was Lieutenant Littlewood, and the observer was Captain Grant, and was only gazetted a flying officer in the Royal Flying Corps 9 days after he was in the hands of the enemy, June 8th. He thought perhaps it would be well if he read an extract from a letter which was written to him. So, which was it? Was it Lieutenant Organ from the J.M. Bruce book published in 1968? Or Lieutenant S.C.T. Littlewood and Captain D.L. Grant? Here's the rest of the article if anyone wants to read it.